Welcome to an episode of Matt Stream Outside here on YouTube. Here's a little bit of a different type of video today. I'm gonna get two things just out the way. Well, three things now. Sorry about my hiccups. Just had to take some Advil, so that's probably why. But anyways, get some things out of the way. Two things left to get out of the way. I did not have a post Sunday like I planned to, which was supposed to be a fishing post. I was busy with snow removal, and that was basically just, we've had a really wet late winter, early spring kind of deal, and then we got a bunch of snow, which just made it just awful for trying to even remove that stuff. So all day Sunday I was busy doing that, didn't have time to make a fishing video, do a fishing video. You know, I was exhausted by the time I was even ready, so that's on me. I didn't even take the time to make a post explaining, which I'll try to do more in the future if that happens. Wednesday, I didn't have the typical Wednesday video like I meant to. I've had a lot of different types of medical appointments all week, so that was, you know, that's how that goes. But anyways, we're back on the regular schedule. If you're watching this video, it'll be tonight at 5. The stinky thing is I did have a gear video for Wednesday, but I've been having issues with storage on the iPhone. So basically, if you get anything from this intro, if it's that, if it's not one thing, it's another or another. But finally, we should be getting back to that. My dog thinks I'm mad. Alright, yeah, so we'll be getting back to that regular schedule. Back behind me on the TV, so I don't have to deal with any copyright kind of issues. My YouTube is back on the TV, just my channel, no specific video. Behind me here is something special. We have something very special, and that would be the Coleman Peak one-person backpacking tent. So they're kind of new to the market. Coleman decided to basically make a premium line of tents that is lighter than the typical Coleman tent, uses aluminum poles, and they're supposed to be good for backpacking. Well, we're taking a first look at it today. I haven't used it outside. I set it up in my room to begin with. Now I've got it set up here, and I'm just gonna go over what we can see about it. But first, I do want to go over a couple important things. So, this is a one-person backpacking tent. It's MSRP, so most of what you're going to find it for, right around $230, and I think maybe between $230 and $260 on REI, but that's about what you're looking at. The Coleman website right now might have it on sale for $180. But it would have to be like really right now. Like, you might want to go check as you're watching this video. So I was lucky. I don't know why or how, and there could be some issues that I'm missing. I don't know. I found this at a local surplus store with a bunch of other ones for $40. I'm in Maine. That's the hint for the surplus store. I'm in Maine. $40 for a $230 tent. You can't beat that. You can't beat it at all, even if the tent ends up being junky. But so far, it's a pretty interesting tent. I have if you've watched my videos, you've seen I have a cheap Bass Pro Shop Hiker Biker tent. That thing was very interesting. It was, I think, $20 or $30. It was not waterproof. I actually had to waterproof it myself and then sew in a bunch of guy lines, but the self-waterproofing, and I'll have a video of that in the future, actually seems like it might have done something. But it's still like a coffin. This thing is like a backpacker's palace. But the unfortunate thing is that it's still, if you can't get it at a discounted price like I did, it's still kind of expensive. It's not really affordable. And it's kind of a heavy weight for backpacking, so if you're a budget backpacker, it's a decent weight. It's between heavy and light. It's way lighter than any Coleman tent that we're used to. 4 pounds, 12 ounces for the one person. So, you know, you gotta have a pack that's capable of loading this in. My plan is taking you on a tour of the tent and then disassembling it on camera, and then you'll see this video tonight, hopefully. So let's start out with the vestibule. We've got a nice vestibule. Coming over to the rain fly, we have some guy out points that I have not had to use yet. We have one guy out line in each corner. We have buckles for the rain fly, so I'll show that a little later on. I'll be right back. I'll wait. I'll show you the beginning of the tent. So I went into this video without a plan, so that's my disclaimer. So let's unzip this. Okay. And we can roll this back. I honestly am not a big fan of rolling. I'd rather just scrunch, but I've noticed this design, you have to roll it. Okay, we got that tied up, and we got our door. Let's see how big this vestibule is. So I can actually curl myself up right under this vestibule. That's something interesting. This is my first time looking at it with the vestibule on, with the rain fly on. Here, I had my dog try this out with me yesterday. I'm not a big fan of the way they did the door, but it's still better than most cheap, than a lot of the budget things you have on the market. I will say that. There's an echo in here. Alright. So I got that tied back. I've got the fly. I've got the fly tightened all the way, and the first thing I noticed from the inside of here is that there is space between the mesh and the fly, which is what we want. We want that for maximum breathability and reduction of condensation. So I'm gonna lay down and call my dog in here. Hopefully the camera picks it up. Daisy, come on in. Good girl. So yeah, we both fit in here. Keep in mind, my wet dog that I accidentally let in here is like 40 pounds. Let's do a close-up, because the rest of what you're gonna wanna see is close-up. See how close we can get it. Alright. So this is my big Agnes anthracite bag, but this isn't what the video is about. I have my Thermarest pad in here already, along with my awesome Sea to Summit camping pillow. And I did use dye line and paracord. Not paracord, shock cord to keep everything tied on so I didn't fall off, because I did test it out for a couple hours inside yesterday to see what I thought. So yeah, me and my dog fit. She's laying down on her sleeping pad. Her sleeping pad has to be folded. So, but it's a palace for one person. It's definitely a palace for one person. I'm gonna go ahead and take this. Okay, there we go. Bandana coming off my head. All right, so this is something interesting. Getting it, yeah, okay. So this has a sky view window. So what we can do is, maybe it's windy, so you want to have that rain fly on to block the wind, but you want more ventilation. So you can unzip this. What did I do with it? I think I have it tied back. Hang on, let's... Okay, so zipper right here, and then we have oh, we actually have a vent too. We can vent that. Whoops. We can vent that like that, or we can just let it hang like that, and then we can zip this back up and have it closed if it's raining. So this is what we get for a view laying down. We've got storage right here, which is a nice touch. One thing I love for the phone is we have storage right there. We can slide our phone right in there. We have another one right over here. We have a lot of leg room, so you could put extra gear if you didn't have a dog with you inside, or maybe your dog's gear. Obviously, you have a large vestibule. That's not news. You could probably potentially cook with a stove as long as you're very diligent about the heat your stove's putting off. And yeah, as you can see, Coleman Peak 1. The seams do come taped, which is another plus. One thing that puzzles me is that the fabric on the tent on the head end comes up to about here, but on the foot end it's very exposed. Honestly, I would think as far as condensation management goes, it would be better to have it be the opposite, because that's going to create a condensation point right there when your breath touches that. I don't know what they were thinking with that. The mesh looks really nice. I know Coleman is really good at making mesh that keeps bugs out. We've got aluminum pulleys that you'll see in a little bit later. You can remove this little storage thing. Got bathtub floors. They're not super high off the ground, but it's supposed to be a tent for backpacking. Let's go ahead and get out of this. All right, we'll put this back in place. And as I disassemble the tent, I will go over what I think about it. So let me go grab my things. Alright, so this is the storage bag. The storage bag is roll top, which I like. I'm a big fan. If you know about my favorite backpack, the Arc'teryx Aerios, you know I'm a huge fan of roll top style anything. I just think roll top is awesome, and I think it's probably the future of zippers. We've got all sorts of different directions here, different languages. To be honest, the directions are not helpful. They tell you what to do, but they don't explain what to do. But if you have experience with outdoor gear, you'll do just fine. You won't need the directions. So I'm going to tuck the directions back in. I'm gonna go ahead and remove my equipment and dog from the tent, and I'm gonna show you what it's like to pack the tent back up. My hopes for packing the tent up is to show a little more about the tent, and also if you see a video of packing up the tent, then you'll know what it's like to put together the tent, or you'll have some idea. So that's what we'll do. Daisy, Daisy, Daisy. Good girl. She likes the warmth of the tent. She likes this tent, actually. She's not a huge tent fan, but she really likes this tent. So, Daisy cake, come on, Daisy, good girl. You can have your bed. Hang on. No, come on. Daisy, Daisy, come here. All right, so far, my dog really loves this tent. That's pretty funny. I think she likes it more than a hammock. Alright, so let's start picking up this tent. Here's my Big Agnes anthracite bag. It's a new bag that I have yet to test out. I really am enjoying it. Alright, it's strapped to my pad. I forgot, this is my Thermarest Trail Scout sleeping pad. I actually found something interesting to do to it last night. I'll try to show the camera. I took shock cord and tied it on these points and tied it to the foot end of the pad. Whoops. I took more shock cord and tied it in the middle of the bag. And then I went ahead and this thing that came with the tent around it that no one ever uses, I used it to tie the pillow to the pad. That way I would stay on the pad instead of rolling off. But that's just something neat I wanted to show. Let's go ahead and disassemble the tent. First things first, we'll start by taking the rain fly off. So I used this piece of shock cord. Well, we'll zip this together first. Like I said before, nice big vestibule. I used a piece of shock cord and anchored it to the couch. Now I should be able to just undo this. Take the shock cord right off. This is not part of the tent, but I used it to help set up the fly inside. We have 4 buckles all the way along with adjustments. The buckles feel kind of interesting. They don't necessarily feel bad, but they don't feel quite like I would expect them to feel for if you were paying full price. They feel kind of like cheap buckles. And almost, I'm not sure if Coleman makes very many products with buckles, but they feel un-Coleman-like to me. Because even though Coleman makes a generally cheap product, you can usually feel a good amount of quality in Coleman products. Then we can take this fly right off, or set it to the side. So speaking of quality and what I'm used to feeling in Coleman products, I do like that they use the thinner bathtub floor to help reduce weight of the tent, since it's a backpacking tent. What I don't like is right here at the door. These zippers. If you've watched this channel, if you've been here for a long time, you may know I absolutely cannot stand Columbia products, all Columbia products in general. I had a good pair of Columbia boots once. They were winter boots, and I can't say they ever did me wrong. I had another pair of Columbia hiking boots. They were garbage. I had a Columbia sweater that was garbage. Basically, I have a couple of Columbia products just because they're gifts and stuff, but I'm not a fan of Columbia. They don't make good quality anymore. But these zippers right here for the door, you can just tell, they seem just like something that would be from a Columbia thing. They're not a quality zipper. With that being said though, they did a really good job as far as the closure for the zipper, so I'm not worried about bugs getting in the hole. That's not a concern for me. So the zipper is alright. I would expect it to be a little higher quality, but this is the reality when we're talking about something of this sort from a brand that's new to the backpacking tent world. And I don't claim to be an expert at backpacking tents. I'm just taking what I'm seeing and giving my opinion. So that's my spiel on the zipper. Let's go ahead and, there's some loose threads right here. It's time to do the poles, and I'll adjust the camera so you can see that better. All right, so we have 3 poles total. We have this right here that kind of opens up the tent, and basically you have, you'll put these 2 poles on first if you're setting it up, but then you'll go ahead and put these on, which you do simply, I like to put one on one side, and then I walk around to the other side. I just want to make sure that the camera's picking this up. Sorry for the angles here. Okay, and then you would flip it right in there. Pretty simple. But yeah, we're disassembling this tent now. So this is the last pole I do. Another benefit that you probably already put together that I've been meaning to mention is it's a freestanding tent. So, I love that. Here's a pole. Whoa, knocked down the stakes. So freestanding tent, basically, you can set it up without using stakes, which is beneficial on really rocky or soily or all sorts of different environments. So the fact is, freestanding tent, very valuable. Get these poles off, clip-on poles. That's another high value thing when you're talking about backpacking gear. There's nothing more annoying than sleeves when you're talking about tents in general. Really, in my opinion, I kind of wish all tent manufacturers would do away with sleeves. They're unnecessary. And honestly, if a clip breaks, there are ways you can go about fixing or not even using the broken clips. So, that's another pro so far. So far, I'm really liking what I'm seeing, especially for the price I paid for the tent. Now, I'm not sure it's a great value for, paying full price for the tent. But you have to remember, we are talking about some awesome features like the fact that it's freestanding. A lot of times you'll get charged more for a freestanding tent. Likewise, you would also get, alright, nothing broke. A lot of times you would also get charged more for clips. I don't want to say budget, because $230 to $260 shouldn't really be considered budget backpacking gear. Even though there's lighter tents you can get for the price, you have to ask the question, are they freestanding tents? Or do they have some of the features this thing has, which they probably don't. So we have these nice aluminum poles. This is pole number 2. Not to mention, this is also a big tent for a one-person backpacking tent. It feels like a palace. I can fit my probably 45, 50-pound dog in there with me, and extra. Oh yeah, I got to clip it. The colors are interesting. They're not the best looking colors in the book. They're not the worst looking colors in the book. We got a center clip there. You gotta make sure when you're setting up the tent, you nest the 2 poles in the center. Then we just, well, that was easy. So, you know, I'll go ahead and just get to picking this up right now. If there's anything else I need to say, I'll say it near the end. This is the last pole. So we've got this nice pole. And I will say, these are quality bags. Usually Coleman kind of uses cheap bags, but these are nice for once. So wherever they sourced their bags is awesome. But I kind of wish, I mean, I could honestly care less about these bags, about quality things like this. They could have spent that money on something like making that zipper just a little more quality feeling. Before I do any more, I want to show, this is the stakes it comes with. So not many, I mean, once again, I don't want to say budget, but basically it's hard to get this kind of stake these days with any kind of backpack and tent. Like a lot of times you have to go ahead and go buy the MSR groundhogs or just do some looking around and order this kind of stake. This is not the case. The tent comes with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 of these stakes. These are my favorite kind of stakes. I cannot stand any other kind of stake. Alright. Oh yeah, another value this tent comes with that you don't see many backpacking tents even featuring these days is the ground sheet. So ground sheet will protect your tent floor from getting scratched up, getting poked through. It'll help keep the bottom of your tent clean. Really valuable. Not many tents these days come with it unless you pay a lot of money. And even then, a lot of the tent manufacturers make you pay separately and order the ground sheet separately. This tent comes with it. That's cool. I'm gonna put the rain fly in, roll it up. So this is how I like to roll up my tents. We're gonna start by folding it in half this way. And we're gonna go ahead, and once we get that done, we're gonna try to squash some air out. We're gonna grab this bag. What I like to do is put the poles and stakes in first. So those are in there. We're gonna end it up here. And just try to keep as much air out of the tent as possible. So kind of use your fist. I don't know how this turned into a lesson on rolling up the tent, but it did. Oh man, I said lesson weirdly. Said it like a lesson. Anyways, we're just gonna roll. Try to keep it all in a good shape. Try to keep the air out of it. A big thing I like to judge tents on is how well they fit back in their case. So, we've got this rolled up pretty decently. Let's see how it fits in the case. So far, kinda tight. Kinda gonna be a tight fit, isn't it? Now I'm just gonna shove it in there. Alright, I got it in. My thoughts on that was it wasn't the hardest thing to do, but it wasn't the easiest tent I've ever put back in a case either. Take that how you will. I am a fan of the roll top case though.